Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome James and Karla Murray.
Go ahead, start.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Thank you to the Municipal Art Society for putting together this summit meeting and for inviting us to talk about our project and book, Storefront, The Disappearing Face of New York. We began documenting New York City storefronts starting in year 2000, driven purely by their visual aesthetics. We were attracted to their original facades and architectural details, as well as their hand-painted and neon signage and intricate window displays. After interviewing the owners of the establishments and obtaining insight into each store's history, we realized that this information was just as crucial to the story as the photos themselves. These storefronts not only represent places of commerce, but are items of urban art and history in their own right. The traditional storefront in New York City that has prevailed in some cases for over a century is facing several new setbacks. These family-run businesses started out as traditional mom-and-pop shops passed down from generation to generation, and there was a time when they defined our neighborhoods. Many were humble stores tucked away on narrow side streets, while others had become well-known institutions on historic avenues. Each store turned out to be as unique as their customers, run by owners with a commitment to tradition and special service. The neighborhood store has always been a foothold for new immigrants and a comfortable place where familiar languages are spoken, where ethnic foods and culture are present. The shops are lifelines for their communities, vital to the residents who depend on them for a multitude of needs. They boost the local economy and help define the cultural identity of individual neighborhoods. When these shops fail, their neighborhood is greatly affected. We made it our mission to thoroughly document these stores when we first began to notice the alarming rate at which the stores were disappearing. By the time we wrote our introduction to our storefront book in 2008, over half of the stores, over a third of the stores we had photographed had already disappeared, and today, well over half of the stores are no longer in business. Not only is modest small businesses falling away in the face of modernization and conformity, the once unique appearance and character of our colorful streets suffers in the process.
The trend we noticed very early on while photographing the original stores was that if the owner didn't own the entire building, their business was already in jeopardy of closing. The owners frequently acknowledged to us that they were at the mercy of their landlords and the ever-increasing rents they charged. Due to the commonality of high rent increases, after the business was forced to close, it was often replaced by a chain-type store or banking institution which could afford the higher rent, or the whole building was converted into a luxury condo.
If the location was too small a footprint or the locale was deemed undesirable by a chain-type store, the space often remained vacant, sometimes for years. Will the city's small stores become extinct before anything is done about it? There is currently a lack of legislation in place in New York to protect the city's small businesses. Under current law, small business owners have little power to negotiate with landlords and may be easily displaced to make way for more higher-paying tenants. Solutions include passing a Small Business Job Survival Act, which gives small business owners the rights equal to landlords in negotiating fair lease term renewals and makes for better communications between a landlord and their business tenant. Promoting strict formula business restrictions, similar to what was done in the Upper West Side of Manhattan, where amended zoning now limits the store frontage sizes and certain store conversions or changes in use, will also help maintain diversified, livable neighborhoods. The project took us to every corner of the city, and almost every store that drew us in by its appearance also had an equally compelling history. We heard many fascinating details from owners about their businesses, including that true delicatessens like Katz's Delicatessen on the Lower East Side are rare because they continue a tradition of meat preparation and preservation that predates refrigeration. The owner of DePaolo's Lotteria, a century-old cheese store in Little Italy, told us that the water in New York City is crucial to the resultant taste and texture of its homemade mozzarella. The Wonder Wheel in Coney Island was a wedding present for the wife of its owner. The owner's son told us the gift was akin to a ring so big that everyone in the world would see how much he loved her.
We discovered that McSorley's Old Ale House in the East Village was the last bar in New York City to admit only men. And the Cafe Reggio in Greenwich Village was the first to introduce cappuccino into the United States.
There is no typical New Yorker, but there are many distinct neighborhoods in New York which are defined in part by their shops. There's a physical beauty to these stores that native New Yorkers, visitors, and even those who have never been to New York can instantly see. Our goal with these photographs and stories is to document and help preserve an important part of New York City and bring awareness to maintaining the unique character these businesses add to the streets and neighborhoods of the city. These storefronts have the city's history etched in their facades. They set the pulse, life, and texture of their communities. In addition to our book, Storefront: The Disappearing Face of New York, which has over 225 photographs and interviews with store owners, you can see a small selection of prints downstairs in the hall where breakfast and lunch is served. Thank you so much.
Thank you.